Insight, action, innovate. The Master Series elevates.
In this session of the Master Series, Steve Magnuson, Vice President of Enterprise IT at Regal Rexnord, walked us through the company's Copilot Studio journey. As a global industrial manufacturer with roughly $6 billion in annual revenue and operations across about 250 sites, Regal Rexnord shared how it scaled AI across the enterprise. Steve showcased two standout use cases. The first was the Mill Certificate Agent, an AI-powered solution built in Copilot Studio that automates the evaluation of mill certificates, delivering roughly an 80% reduction in the effort required to review one. The second was Rexy, an AI-powered customer experience platform built with Copilot Studio and the Copilot Web SDK live on regalrexnord.com. He closed with hard-won lessons on governance, data quality, and democratizing AI across every team. Let's check it out.
Thank you, Sarah, for the opportunity to share some of our Regal Rexnord journey on AI and our journey with Copilot Studio. As I get started here, I want to start, though, by saying this is not my journey. I get the privilege of sharing it today. This is really a larger journey by our Regal Rexnord business and IT teams who have partnered to make these AI solutions possible within the company. So thanks to all the team members that contributed to today's presentation and our larger AI journey. Just to ground us, Regal Rexnord. What is Regal Rexnord? Regal Rexnord is a global industrial manufacturer. We have about $6 billion in annual revenue and operations across about 250 sites worldwide. Our vision, we create a better tomorrow with sustainable solutions that power, transmit, and control motion. As we get into our lines of business on the next slide, you'll see a little bit more about that. But the vision, that's not just a tagline that we use. It reflects really a major strategic transformation that our organization has gone through as our company has more than doubled in size over the past 5 years. We're not a software company. We make motors, gearing, actuators, drives, things that physically move the world. So you're going to hear about how we deploy AI to help us in that journey. So looking at our portfolio, we operate across 3 major business segments at Regal Rexnord: our industrial powertrain solution business, our power efficiency solutions business, and our automation and motion control business. You can see some of the product examples listed in the slide. We have about 30,000 associates worldwide that help us along this journey to create a better tomorrow. Our customers span an incredibly broad range. A few mega trends, though, that all of our business segments come together to serve our aerospace and defense, our robotics and automation. Who's heard of humanoids and seen all of the humanoid robots in the technology shows recently? And of course, we would be remiss if we didn't mention the data center business that is a huge growth driver for Regal Rexnord, as it is a mega trend that powers AI as its foundation. So we're proud to be part of the foundation of the AI expansion in the world. Regal Rexnord is a global company, which means IT challenges like data access, security, and compliance aren't necessarily simple. And those same challenges hold true with us on our AI journey as we progress in our corporate vision. Our digital strategy. At RX, digital drives the exploration, integration, and orchestration of various digital technologies and strategies and transforms our business, to enhance and transform our business. So as you can see, artificial intelligence is right front and center, along with cloud, machine learning, data analytics, IoT, and e-commerce in our evolving digital roadmap to support the company's gain in wallet share, to support our pursuit of new customers, and to make Regal Rexnord easy to do business with. And that easy to do business is not only externally for our customers, but it's internally for all of our Regal Rexnord associates from a productivity perspective each and every day. So I'm going to share two specific examples, two specific use cases with you as we go through this presentation today. The first is our internal use case. We have a very large number of internal use cases, so it was tough to choose one, but this one seems to be front and center for many global manufacturing companies. It's our mill certificate agent. So at the foundation, a mill certificate is essentially a birth certificate for a material. Steel, aluminum, whatever we're sourcing to put into Regal Rexnord products. It certifies the composition of the material, it certifies the origin, and any test results for that material. Mill certificates have always been important in our business process, but they've become more important recently because they impact tariffs. If you're a manufacturer today, tariff exposure is a real financial risk. Mill certificates are key to unlocking three major advantages. Number one, qualifying for USMCA at 0% duty. Number two, avoiding Section 232 steel and aluminum tariffs. Those can run in some cases up to 50% on the product. And three, defending your tariff position in the case of any audit activity that might happen. The brutal reality that companies face today, if you don't have your mill certificate documentation in order, you default to the worst case tariff treatment. No certificate means no optimization of your tariff activities, of your tariff exposure. So the challenge in reviewing these documents, these mill certificates, is that it was entirely manual. It was time consuming. And along the way, it required some specialized engineering knowledge that wasn't in any one function, doesn't exist natively in sourcing or IT, or even in all of the business functions. So we had a bottleneck that created a financial exposure for Regal Rexnord and for really all manufacturers in a similar position. So in the end, the team came together and said, can AI solve that? And of course, the answer was yes, it's solving it for us in a very meaningful way. The result is the mill certificate agent. It's an AI-powered solution which was developed in Copilot Studio. It automates the evaluation of mill certificates. It extracts the material data from the mill certificate, and it validates that against all of our internal standards and generates compliance decisions out of that. Those are then human reviewed in very short order with a human in the loop, saving significant time. And I'll show you the value use case down the road. But at the end, it transforms manual, time-consuming reviews into a standardized workflow. It enables faster approvals, orders of magnitude faster, improved accuracy, and along the way, we have complete audit traceability of all the comparisons, evaluations, and decisions that were made by the solution. So with that, I'm going to share just a brief video with you of the solution, and then we'll get into the business benefits and productivity that we've seen out of it.
In manufacturing and
Can you hear the sound now?
Material compliance
Yes, thank you.
is non-negotiable. Every parameter must meet strict internal standards. However, mill test certificates come in many different formats and layouts. Manually reviewing every single parameter takes time and often delays important decisions. To address this challenge, we developed the Mill Cert Evaluator Agent, an intelligent assistant available directly inside Microsoft Teams, accessible from the left navigation panel. Users can initiate a review in two simple ways, either by typing a natural language prompt or by selecting a quick prompt provided by the agent. When a user uploads a mill test certificate, the agent immediately reads the document, extracts all critical details, and identifies relevant material parameters, regardless of the certificate's format or structure. If the supplier is already approved for the given steel grade, the agent automatically selects the correct internal standard and performs a complete comparison against it. That's exactly what's happening with the certificate we've just uploaded. Within 20 seconds to 1 minute, the agent produces a clean side-by-side summary showing the values from the supplier's certificate, our internal specification limits. The agent also gives the revision code of the standard used, and even a direct link to the original specification document. The report also clearly shows when this request was processed and who processed it, ensuring full traceability and audit readiness. Based on the evaluation outcome, results are automatically archived in SharePoint in both Word and text formats. Based on the outcome, files are categorized into accepted, needs review, or rejected, ensuring structured and consistent record management. In cases where a supplier is not approved for a specific steel grade, or if the grade or supplier is new, the agent recommends the closest matching internal standard for comparison. Users can either accept this recommendation or manually input a different internal standard. Additionally, when deviations are identified, the agent can automatically trigger email notifications, ensuring the right teams are engaged promptly for further review. Ultimately, this solution reduces manual effort, accelerates validation cycles, and strengthens compliance, enabling faster, more confident engineering decisions. In manufacturing,
All right. So as you can see, the agent relatively quickly can take a mill certificate, evaluate it against our standards, define whether it matches or not. If it matches, approve it. If it does not match, recommend a different standard to align it to, put a human in the loop to approve that, or to suggest a different standard to align it to. All of which previously took a very long time and a very large amount of manual effort. So this is really our first or second revision of the mill certificate. And as we look at the deployment of it, we've built a short and long-term roadmap for functionality to add into it. So short-term, we're working to improve some of the comparison, accuracy, and handling of more diverse certificate formats. Mill certificates don't have any standard format that they come in. They all contain certain types of information, but there's no one standard across the world. So the certificate formats vary widely, and we're working on error-proofing some of the more diverse formats. We're also looking to enable more manual selection and override of internal specifications, not just enter a different specification, but maybe here 2 or 3 specs that you might want to choose from if you don't like the default recommendation. And then more direct governance messaging to prevent misuse of outputs from the process. Midterm, multi-purpose evaluation. Right now we're evaluating for compliance, and we're really looking for that tariff use case. But beyond that, we're evaluating the same data that gets manually reviewed for compliance, that manually is leveraged by supply chain as part of our ERP ecosystem, that's leveraged by quality and QA and testing and warranty work, and that's leveraged by engineering and product design. This is a great opportunity to have this hit multiple systems as it's doing a mill cert review and ensure that all of our data sources are aligned. That leads to the additional required attributes. The mill certificate contains more than just the data that we would like for tariff use cases. And again, we have the ability to leverage those larger attribute sets to add more value across the organization. And then the human in the loop validation. Today it goes into the respective folders, approve, requires review, etc. We have the opportunity to better workflow that directly to our team members for more real-time evaluation. So Great opportunity in the future for the mill certificate agent and looking at expanding the use cases to improve our overall business processes beyond the initial use case proposed. Business value. What are we seeing for business value from this solution? Evaluation of a mill certificate, when we just look at the human effort required and the time that is required, we see about an 80% effort reduction to review a mill certificate. No expertise barrier, whereas scarce engineering expertise was a bottleneck in the process before. Our engineers can go focus on designing better, more efficient products for Regal Rexnord, working with our customers to tailor our solutions to their business needs more effectively. And lastly, the initial use case, tariff optimization, certainly gives us the information to optimize our tariff obligations and to have ironclad data to support our optimization in the case of any government audits that come through. Faster validation, broader access, stronger margins generated by this solution. All right, that was our internal use case. Now looking outside at our customers, we're going to share our Rexy use case. So Rexy is our AI-powered customer experience platform. It's built with Copilot Studio and the Copilot Web SDK. And it is live on our website at regalrexnord.com today. You can go out and query Rexy, have a conversation with Rexy during this call if you'd like to multitask. It handles a full range of our customer interactions from product discovery to order management and technical support. A customer can come to our site and get real-time answers, not just an FAQ list as more primitive chatbots of the past have done. So what makes Rexy powerful for us is the breadth of data that it connects to. It integrates multiple enterprise data systems. Our product catalog, our order management system, much of our ERP data can be surfaced through a single conversational interface to address external customer needs. We started building Rexy in 2023 with more boutique solution providers. At that point, Copilot Studio had not evolved to the level that it has today. At that point, we were proving a concept, and we hit a lot of barriers. We really saw the boutique providers struggle to provide the scale and the connectivity that we wanted at a reasonable cost. We could have easily gone millions of dollars and still not hit the objective that we were looking for. So Copilot Studio reached a level of maturity during our journey where it could handle some of the semi-complex use cases, and of course it's matured from there. As we saw that happen, we migrated and scaled Rexy on a Copilot Studio foundation. The business case here, though, is more about customer experience and revenue. It's not just cost. We're tracking cross-sell and upsell conversion alongside customer satisfaction and resolution rates with Rexy. Now I will give you just a brief demo on Rexy's capability, but the fun part about this one, again, is you can go out and see Rexy for yourself. All right, so that was a very, very brief, very fast demo of Rexy and its capabilities. But when we look at Rexy, primary capabilities, product discovery, documentation, quotations, order status, product availability, warranty claims, and agent escalation. Very much the foundation of many of our customer service inquiries that we get across the company. When we look at the architecture on the right side, the agent sits in front of multiple back-end systems. Copilot Studio's connector framework that we've leveraged is what makes it manageable. We didn't have to build custom API integrations to every system that we had in Regal Rexnord. There was a lot that was ready for us to leverage out of the box. Security is baked in from the start. Entra ID for identity, role-based access control. All of that makes sure customers can only see what they're entitled to, and all data stays within our Azure tenancy. So there's a lot of advantages here, leveraging the foundation of Microsoft that we already have today. For those who might be a little more technically inclined in the audience, the Copilot SDK is really the foundation of how we embedded the experience directly into our website. It's the same agent surfaced through multiple channels, web teams for our internal folks, whoever may need it. And this is the most fun part for me. It's the value measurement that we get from it. This is about a 30-day window of value that we are showing here on our KPI dashboard. This is something that we've developed internally to track Rexy's progress as Rexy drives our customer engagement across the site. So in the past 30 days, 1,463 conversations from 337 different users, averaging about 10 messages back and forth per conversation. Our customers at the outside give us a success rate and a satisfaction rate, 77.39% success rate. That's something that we've been driving upward as we built additional capabilities and additional intelligence within Rexy. 5.4% escalation to a live agent. That's relatively low. A lot of questions being answered without being escalated to an agent. The use cases, you can see some of the use cases, but the primary use case, far and away the largest use case, is product discovery. This is about finding Regal Rexnord products to solve your problems, to solve your business problems, to solve your technical challenges, and that's great for growth from Regal Rexnord's perspective. Other use cases, searching documentation, user guidance, contact an expert. Again, a lot of that goes into more adoption and success with Regal Rexnord products along the way. And then over the last month, we've looked at the productivity. It's the equivalent of about 1.5 full-time customer service agents based on the work that Rexy is doing for us. So you take a CSR, multiply that salary by 1.5 years, but beyond that, it's not just the salary. Salary is a great benefit. Productivity is a great benefit. It's really the customer interaction and our customers getting their question answered faster with higher quality answers the first time. That's really what we're gaining out of this. So the roadmap, just like our previous internal mill certificate, we have a roadmap of support and a roadmap of improvements that we've been driving with Rexy. Quotes and claims support. We'd really like to introduce guided conversational flows for quote inquiries and claim handling. And this gets into authenticated use cases. It gets into customer-specific pricing. So more complicated, more complex workflows that are customer-specific within this. Persona-based experience. We want to tailor our responses based on the customer type. We already see, based on our incoming web analytics data, what the nature of many of the interactions is. Is it a distributor that's coming to us? Is it an OEM? Is it an end user? Are they looking for product versus order versus support? And how should Rexy approach the conversation differently given those intents and given those end user groups? End-to-end customer journey enablement, really mapping out that customer journey all the way from product search, starting with a business problem oftentimes, to the actual purchase and acquisition of the product from Regal Rexnord, all the way through to the customer success. How do we take that entire customer journey and buying life cycle and empower it in a seamless way through Rexy? And of course, customer behavior intelligence. What are our customers doing and how can we optimize Rexy's responses, optimize Rexy's data sources in order to allow Rexy to be more successful in serving our customers and ultimately allow our customers to be more successful. So those are the two use cases that we had. Beyond the use cases, and as I'd mentioned, internally especially, we have probably 100 additional agents that we're deploying throughout the organization, in addition to what our end users and associates are driving across the company themselves with their M365 Copilot capabilities. So why Copilot Studio? For Regal Rexnord, Copilot Studio is the natural extension of our Microsoft ecosystem into enterprise scale AI execution. So if Azure's your cloud foundation, at Regal Rexnord today it is. If M365 is your management platform, at Regal Rexnord today it is. Then Copilot Studio is the easiest way to operationalize AI across the business. It natively sits on our Azure, OpenAI, and Microsoft Graph infrastructure. It's already there. It uses Entra ID for identity and access. And it connects directly to our commonly used information repositories like SharePoint and Teams. Those are all extra development that is required on many other platforms today. You can very easily service it on to internal associates through the most commonly used interface in your company. For us, that's Microsoft Teams. Our users are in Teams more than any other application. Very easy to make your AI accessible there. You can leverage your current security and compliance capabilities. These are already built into our Azure foundation, our role-based access controller, Entra capabilities, our auditability and traceability and discoverability, all built into our Azure foundation, and that extends in a really seamless way to Copilot Studio. And then last but not least, it creates a unified AI platform for internal and external use cases. I don't have to start over when I want to deploy something outside the company. I don't have to train two separate groups of IT or digital team members across the company with two different skill sets. It's a reusable skill set that can be used inside of Regal Rexnord and outside of Regal Rexnord to drive our AI journey. So last, but certainly not least, it's not a seamless journey. It's not a journey without bumps. We do have some lessons that we've learned. Value realization requires rigor, and we have to go into our AI use cases thinking about how we're going to prove that AI use case. Ultimately, when you're going down an AI journey, you're going to put a certain amount of effort into it. That's going to be your team members' time, both IT team members and your business team members. It's going to sometimes require external consulting capability to bring skill sets in that you don't have. As you go down that journey, you're going to get questions about the value. What value are you generating? How is that value pulling through in sales? How is it pulling through in bottom line productivity within your organization? Think about the value realization up front and how you're going to measure that and prove that. Adoption, it's culture plus use cases. We have plenty of great use cases that don't mesh with culture. Start with your company culture and think through the use cases that are going to be successful, that are going to be adopted, that your businesses and your partner functions are going to pull from you. And that leads into business-led use cases win. If a partner business or a partner function come to you in IT or digital and say, hey, we have this use case, it's burning this many FTEs, it's costing us X percent of our customer wins in the marketplace when we put in a bid. It's costing us on the back end in terms of servicing our customers and driving that cost to serve. It's driving dissatisfaction. All of those are business-led use cases that win. So connect with your businesses, make a list of those use cases, and continue refining that list every time you engage. Integration drives real value. The Copilot Studio ecosystem is so powerful because it can connect easily through default connectors and natively to many of your most common data sources. I'd mentioned Teams and SharePoint and Outlook and all of your other internal data sources that are on the Microsoft platform, but easy default out-of-the-box connections to Snowflake, to ServiceNow will allow you to get off the ground and add value quickly. Keeping Copilot Studio in a box by itself, you're going to find some limited value. That integration into your other data sources drives the value. Scale requires platform and governance. Copilot Studio is a great platform, but without a governance to surround it, you end up with digital sprawl, you end up with use cases that may not work. And in some cases, you end up with a poor user experience, just like you do if you deploy any IT system without the governance surrounding it. So make sure you have a governance structure in place that includes security, that includes legal, that includes your key stakeholders, and that allows everyone to become aligned on standards as we deploy AI, and it allows everyone to be aligned on the use cases that we're all getting behind to pull that value through. I mentioned earlier that integration drives real value, but integration with poor data on the other side of that integration really makes for a bad experience, and it leaves a bad taste in the mouth of our associates for AI, leaves a bad taste in the mouths of our customers for our AI solutions. So as we are going to market with our AI solutions, it's about integrating, but it's also about validating that the data underlying our solutions is correct. To the extent that you have quality data, it's easier to deploy quality AI solutions. Don't think that AI is going to sort through your poor quality data and surface a quality experience on the flip side for the user. That's not the case. The data work is as important as ever. Balance empowerment with standards. And this is part of the reason that I really like the Microsoft environment. Many of my associates have M365 Copilot. They can go to town creating their own agents all day long. And that is really the empowerment. That AI capability is there for all of those who want to create an agent and benefit from AI. M365 Copilot also powers people's everyday productivity as an empowering AI solution. But on the flip side, when we're deploying a larger AI solution, something that's going to be a more official AI solution that the company releases across the masses, something that we truly scale for value, that's a place where we can really institute those standards through Copilot Studio, curate the experience, and make it one that we can all be proud going to market with at scale. And the last one is around talent and upskilling. IT is great at learning new technologies. We want to go to the cloud. We want to adopt AI. And the challenge within our organization to upskill is significant, but it's not just IT. We see as much Copilot Studio adoption outside of IT as we do inside of IT. Again, all going through that governance framework, all going through Copilot Studio with the security capabilities and governance that's put in place there, but it's equally outside of IT now. And the great part about that is when we started out our journey with our boutique providers, at that point, we said, well, we need a director of AI in the digital and IT function. We need that person to be accountable for driving AI across the organization. And the journey since 2003 has really told us that that's not the way to go. The way to go is to really put that governance in place, but make AI a democratized technology. It's not owned by infrastructure. It's not owned by applications. It's not owned by digital. It's not owned by the data team. It's inherent across all of the teams. It's a capability that they all bring to bear with their products to add value to the business. So every group is upskilled and every group has capabilities now to bring AI solutions to bear within that governance framework. So those are the lessons that I learned. And with that, I will turn it back over to Sarah on the Q&A.
Great job, Steve. This has been such a great session to learn how you guys are using it. I think one of the key takeaways that I had was just the cultural shift, the cultural mind shift that you all have put in place, and that's just exceptional. With that, let's go ahead and get to the Q&A portion. We already have a couple of questions in the Q&A. If anybody wants to come off mute and ask a question live, you're welcome to do that as well. As we're waiting for some brave souls, I have a couple of questions that I can ask here. So, Steve, has there been any OCR technology or tool used to build this solution to read the documents?
That's a great question. And with Copilot Studio, we haven't needed to bring in a third-party OCR technology or tool to build the documents. Copilot Studio, out of the box with capabilities that are inherent in the solution, is doing the document reading and interpretation for us.
Awesome. Good. Let's see. Is there an integration with SAP for the order management piece within Rexy?
You know, today, we don't have it integrated directly with SAP. On the order management piece and on most of the other pieces, we try to send it to our Snowflake data warehouse in order to answer those questions. We have near real-time order status information within our Snowflake data warehouse. And I'll give you just a little bit of insight on our ERP ecosystem that makes that make sense. Regal Rexnord has grown nearly double in the past 5 years, as I'd mentioned, and a lot of that's been through M&A. And with that, we've brought in a diverse ERP ecosystem. So if we had the entire company aligned in one SAP environment, we might have Copilot Studio go direct to SAP for that. We have 4 primary ERPs across our company that power the majority of our sales. And with that, we aggregate much of our data in our Snowflake data warehouse. So that's really where we send Rexy to provide a more cohesive experience across the ERP ecosystem.
That makes sense. I think that's really common. Okay, another question that we have here. With regard to the credits and costs of running the MCS agents, have you increased the focus on ROI rigor?
Well, so another way we could do this.
Ooh, it sounds like you all might want to go on mute. Here we go.
So we're keeping an eye on that. Right now, we haven't seen a big jump in cost as part of these. The solutions, we do monitor their costs. We monitor either the message pack use or any other costs that are associated with the solutions. I'm not saying it's nothing, but compared to the value that we're seeing on the volume, the value is significantly ahead based on the use cases that we've shown you here. The cost to serve is very low compared to the value we see coming out the other side. Now, does that mean we haven't seen a use case that's been upside down? No, there's some pretty heavy use cases where the value has been lower. On the outside, or on the flip side of the solution, the productivity has been lower, the benefit has been lower, and through our governance process, we've decided not to move forward with some of those use cases. But these use cases, if I can see an 80% reduction, an impact on tariffs as a manufacturing company, and a cross-sell, upsell product discovery capability on my website, those are great use cases, and they are absolutely blowing away the cost to value ratio.
And there's a follow-up to that one. So in developing the governance and capabilities to estimate the credit consumption to derive that ROI and then later monitor it. So have you put those in place?
Absolutely. As part of our governance, the team is monitoring the usage of our prepaid message packs, and then afterward, any pay-go costs as those are exhausted. So we do monitor it on a regular basis. But at this point, we're focused on driving usage higher. Every mill certificate that is analyzed by the agent versus by a human is giving us I don't know the exact number because the Azure cost is so small, or excuse me, the Copilot Studio burn is so small relative to it. I don't have a multiplier on it, but it's a negligible cost for a significant value on the flip side. And Rexy is the same way. We aren't spending six figures on these solutions behind the scenes in Copilot Copilot usage. And in fact, I would be willing to bet that we're not even spending five figures a month to drive these solutions.
Oh, that's pretty incredible. Thank you. Next question. Tell me more about data quality. What did you need to do to make your data good enough to use?
Well, that has been a journey, and oftentimes as you're going through your data journey as a company, you have your ERPs, you have your disparate systems. Maybe 15 years ago, you stood up a data warehouse. Maybe in the last 5 years, that's moved to a more modern cloud data warehouse, maybe a Fabric or a Snowflake or Databricks or something like that. As you've made that journey, a lot of the bad data has just followed you along the way. And many of our enterprises that we've seen, and we're not excluded from this, you do data quality in the front end. You get your reports out of the data warehouse, you say this doesn't look right, you adjust your front end reports to compensate for data quality issues, and your business goes on and is happy. At the back end, AI is going to be leveraging your back end data. It's not going to be leveraging your front end data in most cases. So it really forces enterprises to go back and reassess how they are cleansing their data, how they're storing it, and how they're caring for it. For us, what it really means is a couple of things. Number one, we are putting better logic into the ETL process that pulls that data together in our modern solution to make it more, putting in place better rectangle or relevant data out of the system. This particularly works for us in the SharePoint environment, but it's also working in our ERP environments as we put in more robust data management and records retention. And then lastly, but certainly not least, it is making us double down on master data management. So if we can cleanse data on the back end, that's half of master data management. We're really doing that. Customer masters, item masters, vendor masters across the organization. That's necessary as we've come together through M&A, but it's also necessary to power modern AI solutions. And then beyond that, it's additional MDM governance on the front end to keep the incoming new data clean. Centralized processes for creation of vendors, of customer, of part IDs in our systems to make sure that the data is pristine on the way in. So I would say those are really the three. It's a relook at your ETL processes that bring your data together. It is cleanup and data retention of old data, and it's maturing your master data practice to be able to support your AI efforts.
Yeah, very important. Thank you for that, Steve. Another question here, what type of enablement activities have generated the most adoption? So training, coaching, hackathons, discovery sprints, etc.
So training is fine, coaching is fine. We've done all of these things. Discovery sprints are okay. We get AI coming out of ideation through our normal IT intake, through our PMO or project management office. Solutions come in, we have a business problem to solve, and of course AI is one of the tools that all of our technology verticals or all of our functional verticals within IT are bringing to bear to solve those business problems. I think hackathons are the biggest generator of enthusiasm and ideas when we can get a group of 25, 50, sometimes even 100 Regal Rexnord associates from across the company together. And we can start by showcasing some of the solutions. I showcased two here today, but I was within an AI workshop in our Milwaukee headquarters yesterday where we shared about 15 of these use cases. And a lot of people raised their hand and said, I could use that. Or I have a use case that's similar to that. How much work would it be to extend the functionality? And you leave that type of session with not only the enthusiasm that and the energy that's built in the session, but everyone has a list and everyone can start working that list with IT, with digital, or as one of the many empowered people outside of digital, still within that governance framework, to drive value in those solutions.
I would agree with that. Our hackathons, exceptional. We get daily emails of what people are building and what they've done and have shared out either videos or stories. Other people are getting ideas from those. That kind of stuff really helps us too on the Microsoft side. Okay, another question here. What was the timeline it took to scale the solutions? I understand it was started in 2023, but were there a lot of technical challenges? Often it's the technology investments that sometimes are blockers when compared to ROI.
So at Regal Rexnord, we really wanted to lead on AI, and that's why we got started with Rexy as early as 2023. It's why we went with a boutique provider to try to get that off the ground as early as we possibly could. It was an uphill battle, and it wasn't meeting expectations until we started to shift to the Copilot Studio based development in the 2024 timeframe. So I think we went in with an agile mindset. We failed fast early as we tried to go to market with a solution. And then in 2024, once we decided to start with the Copilot Studio solution, we had Rexy on the site. I feel like we had Rexy on the site within 10 weeks, 12 weeks, something like that. And at that time, it was more product discovery, empowered AI supported search. But since then, we've gone down that roadmap of functionality and continued to add functionality along the way. The MilCert is a more targeted, more specific use case. We had a written standard for mill certificates already. That didn't need to be developed. That was new, or it was existing. So we were able to take the existing documentation that was there and really launch that mill certificate agent, I would say 2 to 3 weeks.
Wow. That's fast. That's great.
It was an exceptional team on the back end that helped build it, but the foundation was there, and they could put the components that Regal Rexnord already had together and leverage the AI intelligence to add more value. And that was wonderful.
That's awesome. Great. Next question. What percentage of accuracy did you consistently meet with a mill certificate solution? And how did you meet the level of accuracy and manage inaccurate outputs? So I understand the human in the loop was used, but how did you determine what threshold of accuracy determines rejected, needs review, or approved?
Well, for us, the mill certificate is a, I don't want to say it's a compliance thing. It is, but the threshold that we use is really 100%. I mean, we have our standards for mill certificate. If the mill cert 100% meets those standards, it goes into that approved folder, as you saw in the demo. If there are questions, even minor questions, those go into the human in the loop review folder so they can get further reviewed. I don't have a metric off the top of my head on what the solution accuracy is and how many go into the human review folder for human in the loop. I do remember it was very few. And those are primarily those stranger formats with different languages and different measurement systems that ended up going in those folders. It's not the vast majority of the mill certificates.
Yeah, that makes sense. And why you would need to do that. Let's see, where did I leave off? Let's see. What criteria or factors did your team use to decide between building custom AI solutions in-house versus leveraging out-of-the-box platforms like Copilot Studio?
I think we look at it simply as, should I use Copilot Studio? Can I use Copilot Studio for this? And if not, why? And at governance, it's really a discussion of Copilot Studio as our foundational platform. Again, it's within our Azure capabilities that we have today. It leverages our security and compliance framework that we have today. And governance is going to ask why we're not leveraging that. So it's really a justification. Why aren't, and in some cases, there are solutions where we've chosen to leverage other AI capabilities, either something vendor specific that is there, or sometimes a data connector that's not there in the industry yet, and it's too cumbersome to develop it. But one thing I'll add to that is connectors are great, and we'll continue to use out of the box connectors whenever they're there, and in some platform to get around the need for connectors. Can my AI securely talk to another AI? Can my agent talk to another agent in order to answer my question, to solve my problem in a seamless way? With MCP, it can pass on the context that I have as well. So to the extent that we don't have a connector, we have started to leverage MCP responsibly, but in a more active way.
Yeah, great point. I'm going to see if anybody has any questions they want to ask live on the phone. All right, no brave souls. I think that's all the questions.
Shy bunch.
I know. Again, thank you, Steve. This was great. Thank you, everybody, for attending. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Inside action in